From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Who is this Tom guy?
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No, I am your host. Write down our telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. We appreciate you being out there, being with us, hanging with us. It's all good. Every now and then I like to talk about losers because there are so many of you out there. And it's a tragedy that so many of you, don't see the value in life, in living, the potential that exists, the potential to be successful, the potential to do good, the potential to live a comfortable, exciting life. You know what? You know what I really hate? People who say, I'm bored. Because these are the people who become losers. People who get bored easily. They think there's nothing to live for. They think there's nothing good out there, that nothing good will ever happen to them, because they're under the impression that the people that good things happen to are just plain lucky or privileged in some way. So they just throw in the towel on life. They have sex without condoms. They drop out of school. They get married at 18 and have, too many children that they can't afford. They run their credit cards up to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, then can't pay them, then go to credit counseling, then file for bankruptcy. Losers all. As I've said on this program before, if you've ever taken a payday loan, you're a loser. If you have ever had to hide from the calls of a creditor, loser. If your FICO score is below 600, loser. If you work at a job at a supermarket or a fast food joint and you are over 25 years of age, loser. Loser. I'm living proof that life can get better. That just because you are poor or just because you are unsuccessful or just because you appear to be unlucky, and luck has very little to do with it, it doesn't mean things aren't going to get better later on. I never would have imagined how great things were going to get. Honestly speaking, as hard as I worked and as ambitious as I was, I had no idea it could ever be this good. Ever. I am so glad I did not agree with wife number one and just say, you know what, I'll have kids. What the hell, nothing's going to happen in my life anyway. I'll just get some crummy day job and support the kids and, hope for the best. I said no. I'm so glad that when I had a 3.5-year relationship with a woman I lived with many years ago, and I was 23 years old, when she wanted to settle down, she wanted me to accept her parents' offer to buy us an apartment and buy us leather furniture. I'll never forget. It was leather furniture, I was told. Oh, yeah. Leather? Well, I thought it was going to be microfibers, but leather furniture. Where do I sign? Let me just give up my career right now. Get a regular job. Thank God I said no. Thank God I left her. I just said no and I moved on. Thank God I didn't just give up everything and just get a regular day job for the girlfriend that eventually threw me out. Threw out all my things. Threw everything out the door, changed the locks. Told me to call her back when I got a better job. You want to know something, sweetheart? I got a better job. The one thing missing is you. And it's not like she didn't try. She did. She tried to get back with me. It's about 8, 9, 10 years later after we split up. You ever come to New York? I do, but not to see you. I'm so glad I said no to that. I'm so glad I said no to any number of women who wanted me to have children with them. No, 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 no. I'm so glad that when I got married, I got a prenuptial agreement. I was stupid to get married, but at least I got prenups. Happy about that. I'm so glad I didn't give up. And by the way, for all you losers who've attempted suicide or threatened to attempt suicide, you know, life can get a lot better, and you have no idea it's coming. You have no idea it's coming. You have to keep fighting through it every day. You got to fight through it every goddamn day. Giving up and slitting your wrists or taking pills or telling people you're bored or shooting up or whatever, you're a moron. By the way, my family, not my immediate family, but my extended family of cousins, whatever, just filled. I had 18 first cousins. Any number of them with one substance abuse problem or another. Stupid. What a waste. I stand here today to tell you that not only am I not a loser, but growing up in a poor family in a poor neighborhood, I was the kind of person everybody writes off. Do you know when I went to high school? The neighborhood where I lived was so full of losers. I was the first person in 13 years at that high school from the time it opened to be accepted to a major university, which I later couldn't afford to finish. Everybody I went to school with, it was like one big the trades high school. You know, they were teaching people how to be bricklayers, how to be plumbers, how to be carpenters. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of that, but you know, I had a high IQ. I was very well read. I was good at math. They didn't know what to do with me. They just got me now 16 years old. They graduated me. Get out of here. Goodbye. Too many people give up on life too easily. And thank God you do, because you're the people who pack my groceries. You are the people who rotate my tires. You are the people who, you know, do all the menial labor for me. Thank you. I want to thank whoever replaced my brake shoes. Good work on that. Thank you for knocking up your girlfriend. Good work. It's fantastic. I mean, I don't know what we would do without people like you, the losers out there who give up on life, knock up girlfriends, not, you know, have 4, 5, 6 kids you can't afford. What would we do without you? Where would we get cheap labor? Seriously. Where would we get it? Where would KLOS get listeners? Are you kidding me? Talk about a radio station where every listener at least once has bumped his head on the hood of the car because he was changing his own spark plugs. What would we do without losers like you? Seriously. It's just all about the losers. And it's not just guys. You know, there's a lot of women who are losers out there, and you're the ones who try to overturn prenups. And you're the ones who, you know, the ones in the floral print stretch pants out there walking around Vons at 10 o'clock in the morning. We've seen you. Seen you out there. That's right. Those of you who've given up ever being 150 pounds again. Sitting there at Cinnabon, porking down. Seen you out there. I know it. It's all about the losers. And the amazing thing is every time I talk about losers, there's some people out there just think it's so unfair what I say. It's so unfair. I don't think so.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
So why don't you marry this? I already got a best friend. She listens, does what I say, doesn't talk back, doesn't use the restroom. She's man's best friend, the dog.
Oh, well, she is a bitch.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. Coming to you from my hometown of Hollywood, California. At 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. I'm talking this hour about losers. John on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Doing okay?
Hey, I just wanted to tell you, man, I was that guy that you just talked about. I was a horrible loser. I did everything except do the payday advance thing. But needless to say, I was young, dumb. I went out, got a job, best money I've ever made, put myself in a huge, huge amount of debt, buying cars I didn't need and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, one thing led to another, ended up being super in debt. The creditors kept calling me. It got to a point where I actually almost committed suicide. And, you know, I have to thank you because thanks to you, I didn't. I, you know, stepped back. I started listening to their show. I realized that, you know, things do get tough, you know, just like you say, and you just have to take it one day at a time. And, you know, the board comment, that's exactly what it was. You know what I mean? My life was going nowhere. It was going absolutely nowhere. And then I listened to you, and you talk about, you know, that you didn't, you know, finish college because you couldn't afford it, and yet look at what you've made out of yourself just by working hard and not getting caught up in the drama of chicks and everything else. And I'm happy to say, turned my life around thanks to you.
I'm thrilled to hear that, John.
It's wonderful, actually. I'm in a great job now. I'm actually, next year, I'm going to break six figures, and you know, I DTB'd the ex. She took almost all my stuff, but you know what? It was a small price to pay for finding out what a true bitch she was. And now I'm happier than ever. I'm absolutely elated with my life. I look forward to it. I still get bored, but it's a different type of bored. It's bored because I know now what my potential is. I know what I can be, and I just get bored with the fact that I haven't moved ahead. I haven't moved forward. And it's a boredom that drives me now instead of a boredom that holds me down and makes me depressed. And I owe it all to you. I was thrilled to hear you start talking about this today because there's a lot of guys out there, and I used to be friends with a bunch of them who are in the same position that I was in, and they just don't see it. They don't see their own potential. They get wrapped up in all the drama of life, and like you said, they get their girlfriends pregnant, and the next thing you know, their life is just a dead end, one dead end after another. And you're right, they're the guys down there bagging my groceries and bagging your groceries, and changing my oil.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. And hopefully, you know, by doing this topic today, there will be more people out there who understand that there's more to life. You don't have to be bored. You don't have to go down that road.
Just remember, there are no road scholars there at the parking lot going, all right, lot 7, row 6, This way, this
Absolutely
way,
not.
this way, this way.
Paper or plastic, Tom? Paper or
That's
plastic?
right. That's exactly
There's
right.
my MBA hanging on the wall. Would you like paper or plastic? Just doesn't happen. Anyways, I just wanted to give you mad props, Tom. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you do. Every single day I get my daily dose of Tom when I turn on the radio and drive home from my awesome job now, and I couldn't have done it without you. And hopefully, if you reach one more desperate, demented loser guy like myself out there today, it was all worth it.
I'm proud of you, John. Thank you.
Blow me up.
Here you go, baby. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Griselle on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. I am so happy to be talking to you again. How are you doing today?
Do you care?
Yes, I actually do care.
I'm doing great.
You know what? I just have to say this loser topic, you hit home with this one. I mean, I've only been listening to you for a few months, but every time I listen to you, you always have something relevant to say, something true and something that actually affects society. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for that. And I just want to let you know, that I think what you're doing is awesome. You know, I see myself in a lot of what you teach. You know, I mean, whether it's this loser subject, I personally, I'm 25. I do not want to ever have kids. My personal choice, not because I don't like them, but because I want to make something of myself. I want to be able to work for people. And basically, I see that's what you do. You know, obviously, you don't have any kids, but the service that you provide, you know, obviously with these men and women, I just want to say thanks, and you are awesome.
Well, thank you for that, Griselle. I appreciate it.
Well, you take care, and can you blow me up, Tom?
You know I can. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Here's Heather on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. Can you hear me?
No.
Okay. I just started listening to you. I was just browsing through the radio, and I've heard you a couple times. And it seems like every time I hear you, you are constantly, like, puffing yourself up and saying over and over again about how rich you are and how...
I am.
So this, I know you are.
You have a problem with that?
No, I have a problem with how insecure you seem because you constantly have to tell people how rich you are and how you showed this bitch because now look how successful you are. And
well, because everybody who does a radio program tells stories about themselves. That's how it works. And the story I tell about myself happens to be 100% true. But everybody who does a radio program where it's talk radio talks about themselves. That's a big part of how you get a conversation started. And clearly maybe you're new to talk radio and you don't know how it works. Or maybe you've been misfortunate enough that your exposure to talk radio has been WBAP or something like that. But the reality is that in talk radio, the hosts talk about themselves. And this happens to be my true story.
Okay.
So I understand that you are ignorant about talk radio and you don't know how it works. I understand that. But that's how it works.
Well, I do.
It has nothing to do with insecurity.
I guess maybe it's because you're the only one on there. All the talk radio I've listened to, there's several people. And
I'm the only one with a good show, and that's why you tune in, and it antagonizes you because I've got a good show, but you don't like my opinions. So that's why you're not listening to WBAP or KLIF or The Ticket or any of the other stations in Dallas that do talk radio, because I've got the best show on the air. And that really antagonizes you, really gets your goat because you don't like my opinions. But you continue to tune in.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Right.
Just because you really do piss me off.
But I have the best show on the air, or you'd be listening to one of the other stations.
I guess it just really shocks me when people call in and, you know, it just sort of seems sick, like cult-like Jeff Warren.
Well,
the way people...
nobody forces you to tune in. I don't know why you're listening.
I don't either.
Yeah, well, I do. It's because you, regardless of your calling in and complaining and trying to take a personal shot at me by telling me I'm insecure, by the way, I'm pretty goddamn secure. The fact is that you listen because it's the best show on the dial. That's why you listen. If it wasn't the best show on the dial, you'd be listening to that show.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's the best show.
Well, then I'll tell you what you need to do is tune into the best show. Don't be listening to this show. Listen to the best show.
Well, I can listen to what I want to listen to.
Oh, so you want to listen to the worst show?
I don't think it's the worst show, but I don't think it's the best show.
Well, then if there's a better show, why aren't you listening to it?
Because it's not on right now. It's on in the morning.
Well, the fact is, this is the best show on at this time. The best. And that's why you listen to it.
That's your opinion.
Well, that's why you're listening to it. I mean, why would you torture yourself and listen to a show that you don't think is the best show? If there's a better show on, why aren't you listening to it right now?
Because it's not on. But
No, if there's a better show on at night in Dallas, why aren't you listening to it?
Because isn't the talk radio on except for the station?
Well, there's WBAP, there's KLIF, there's KRLD. I'll give you a list of stations. You could be listening to any one of these, but you chose to listen to this one.
Well, okay, I'm listening to your show. But
Right, because it's the best show on. That's why you're listening, or you wouldn't be listening.
Okay. Well, see, you're stubborn.
I mean, think how stupid that would be, to know there's a better show on the air right now in Dallas and not to listen to it. How stupid is that? If there's a better show on, why aren't you listening to it right now? The answer is because there isn't a better show on, and you know it.
Sorry, I can hear your voice very quiet over the radio, but it's late.
The bottom line is, dear, you don't have a response to that because you know it's true, and you heard every word I said.
I don't know. I just think it's weird.
What's weird?
I don't dislike you at all. I just think it's weird how it seems like every time I have heard you, you're just constantly putting down other people and like.
Well, and yet you continue to listen, so that must be what you like.
I don't.
Well, then stop listening.
I just thought it was sort of mean how you were implying that you were better than the
How would you
bad
know
boys.
I'm saying that if my show is so offensive? Why are you still listening to it?
That's why I called in. Because
You
I
wouldn't
thought
be
it was
able, if
really
you weren't
mean.
listening, you wouldn't be able to call in because you wouldn't know I was taking calls.
All right, Tom, I won't listen to you anymore.
Oh, no, I mean, clearly you're going to listen, no matter what you say, because, again, the reason you've chosen to listen is because it's the best show on. You don't like my opinions, but it doesn't mean we don't have the best show on the air in Dallas at night, and that's why you listen to it. And that's why you will continue to listen to it.
Oh, I really won't.
Well, you've been listening for some time now, and you seem to be very, very interested in everything I have to say.
I haven't. I told you I've listened to you a couple times.
Well, you seem to know an awful lot about this show for somebody who's only listened a couple of times.
That's because you talk about the same thing.
How would you know if you never? How would you know if you never listen?
Because I've heard you 3 times and you've talked about the same thing.
That doesn't matter. How do you know what did I talk about the other times? You know, I do in the course of a year. Let me see. I do about 220 news shows a year, and you heard 3 of them. How do you know what I'm talking about on the other 217 shows?
Well, I just find it very bizarre that each show I've heard, all you seem to talk about is how you're better than everybody else.
No, I'm better than you, I know that, but I don't know about everybody else. Oprah Winfrey makes more money than I do and is more successful, and I salute her for that. Howard Stern makes more money than I do. Congratulations to him, because I think the world of Howard. But I'm certainly better than a lot of people like you, for example, who has nothing. Your life is so empty. You've got nothing better to do than to listen to a show you proclaim that you hate.
And so that makes you better than me?
Yes, it does, because I only do things I like to do. I'm not bored. My life is so interesting, I don't have to fill up my day doing things I don't like you do.
Well, perhaps I'm a masochist. I don't know.
Perhaps you are.
I think I am. I do a lot of things I don't like to do.
Really?
But...
Maybe I should go over there with a leather strap and we can talk about some other things.
No, you couldn't handle me.
Oh, you think not?
No.
I've got an open palm with your name on it, dear.
No, thanks.
It's heading for your ass cheek.
Ew. Yeah. Because you just think women are bitches who are there to...
No, just because you're a bitch doesn't mean all women are bitches.
No,
Absolutely not.
I'm not a bitch.
Oh,
why,
no, not
why
you.
Why do you call me a bitch? You don't even know anything about me.
I know what I've heard in this conversation. I know you've tried to get my goat here, and then every time you fail at getting my goat, you get increasingly antagonized. You love telling me you don't listen to the show, you don't like the show, you don't like me, and then the more I talk to you, the more I find out that you are a listener.
You can't handle somebody who has a differing opinion than you.
Really? Well, what is your opinion? Let's hear it.
Well, I just told you that I think it's bizarre. And I wasn't even being mean.
What is your differing opinion? I haven't heard it yet.
Because you interrupt me every 2 seconds.
All right, tell us your differing opinion. I'm listening now. Go ahead.
I was telling you that I think it's bizarre that every time I've heard you, all you seem to talk about is... You've said this 4 times. Darling, you have said that 4 times. Do you have any other material? You said that I've been interrupting you, but you've said that 4 times. Do you have anything else? Then, because you asked me to repeat it.
No, I didn't ask you to repeat it. You said you were not, you said you were not able to get your opinion on the air. But it turns out you then repeated something you'd already said 4 times.
Because you just asked what's your opinion.
But because you said you were not able to express it because I interrupted you. But it turned out I didn't interrupt you. You said the same thing 4 times. I heard it 4 times. The people listening heard it 4 times. You were not interrupted. You made that point 4 different times in the same call because you've got no juice left. You've got nothing left to say, have you?
Oh, my God, you're irritating.
I know, and that's why you listen every night.
Oh, your voice is like grating.
Hey, again, I didn't put a gun to your head and force you to tune in. You made that choice on your own. And then after you heard it and it was annoying, you continued to listen.
Well, once again, like I said, I'm a masochist. I don't know.
There we go. I'll be over there with that leather strap, dear.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, darling.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I got the new test for man's best friend.
What's that?
You take your girl and you take your dog and you put them in the trunk of your car and you leave them there for about 2 hours. And when you come back, you see which one's happy to see you.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. I'm talking about losers here. Nate on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Nate? Nate's busy over there. Nate will figure out in about 70 seconds that he was on the air, had a chance to talk to me, and because he did not do what Dean said, turn the radio down or off, he blew his chance. But he'll know that in about 61 seconds from right about 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Corey on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I agree with most everything you say, but with the thing with, like, having a FICO score under 600 or changing your own spark plugs, I'm kind of young, and it took me a long time to get my FICO score above 600. It is now, and I have good credit for my age. I've never missed a payment of my credit cards. I have no debt right now. And as far as, like, changing spark plugs and working on a car, I don't have to work on my car, but I would rather work on my car than let some loser that barely graduated high school, if that, and has 4 kids.
Well, see, you agree with me that people who change spark plugs are losers.
No, what you were saying was that people that change their own spark plugs are losers. People
Well,
that do it
yes.
as a job. People that do it as a job, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the people who have to do it. Like, if you can afford to take your car in, but you like getting under the hood, fine. I'm talking about people who do it because they have to do it.
Okay, I completely agree. I thought I misunderstood. I was misunderstood, and I thought that you said that anyone that had a FICO score under 600 and anyone that worked on their own car was a loser.
I do think that if you have to work on your own car because you can't afford to take it in, you're a loser. Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. You should have a job to where you can, afford to live.
Right.
But what about with the? I mean, were you saying an adult with a FICO score of under 600, or because it's kind of hard to build credit. I mean, it's not hard to build credit.
That's the biggest myth in the world, that it's hard to build credit. Really?
Well, I'm just saying, like, starting out, because I mean, you don't have credit. I don't know, maybe there's a different term for it, or maybe we're talking about different things, but when I turned 18... I
will tell you in 30 seconds or less how to build good credit. Number one, start a bank account. Number two, get a secured credit card, a MasterCard or Visa card secured by $500 deposit in your checking or savings account.
I did that.
Number three, spend 6 to 12 months paying off your small balances on that secured credit card, and then you have established credit, and that is how it's done.
But isn't that kind of building credit? I mean, sort of.
Yes, it is.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's just what it was. I mean, it took me a while to get this.
Yes, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who don't pay their bills.
Yeah,
or people who pay bills late, or people who, they borrow money and they think they never have to pay it back.
Yeah. I mean, there's no such thing as free money.
Right.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess I did agree with you all the time then, because I just thought I heard you a little different.
See, you did agree with me.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I definitely do that. If you're changing spark plugs for someone else's because you have 4 kids at home, you made some dumb decisions.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I had shined my own shoes because I like to pay attention to the detail and I like shiny shoes, that's one thing. Yeah. If somebody is shining my shoes, I'm glad they're willing to work, but come on, you're a loser. You're a loser.
Yep. And it's hard for them to take that, but it's true.
And it's politically incorrect to say that they're losers. Everything is beautiful in its own way, as Ray Stevens once said, and that's what we're supposed to, look kindly upon all the Forrest Gumps out there who put groceries in a bag.
Yeah. They're not really happy.
That's right. I'm happy they're there. Thank God they knocked up their girlfriends. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, right on. We were, just not getting people pregnant. They were, and look.
That's right. Thank God they partied their way through high school, because, my God, who would help me get the groceries out to the car?
Yeah, exactly. I moved to California actually pretty recently, and I came from a really small town in northern Michigan, and that's everyone there around 18. They all either got married and had kids or just had kids.
And you know who else I was thrilled was a loser? When I went to Costco, and I spent $900 at Costco, and I had that big, long receipt as long as like a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
When you're walking out the door, there's that person who takes like the yellow highlighter and draws a line through the receipt and says, thank you.
Yeah, they kind of look at you and kind of guide you over to them with the marker.
I look at that person, and they don't know I'm thinking this, but I'm looking at the person going, thank God I studied and graduated high school. Thank God.
Exactly.
I don't stand there with the highlighter drawing lines through receipts saying thank you.
I don't understand how people can't graduate high school. High school is the easiest thing.
By the way, I love how they look at $900 worth of stuff. They go, and then they draw a line, not even 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Well, okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a worthless job.
What a talent that is. Ooh-wee.
Yeah. But, all right, Tom. Well, it was good talking to you. I've
been
listening to you a lot since I moved out here, and I really enjoy your show.
Corey, thank you. Since he moved out here, if I give him another 30 seconds, he would have told us where he came from. Where was he from? Michigan. Oh, Michigan. Really? Okay. That's why he didn't tell us where he was from. No, he did tell us where he was from. Never mind. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Nate On the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, what's happening, man?
Doing a radio show here.
I can see that, man. Or I can hear it, I should say.
Yes. Good.
Anyways, man, I'm calling for career advice. And I'm a big fan of yours, and I have a lot of respect for you because you're someone who has pursued your passion and become really successful at it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do and having a hard go at it. I'm a full-time professional musician, freelance. I work as a hired gun, like sideman to all kinds of people, and I've done everything from, big bands to small jazz groups to playing on cruise ships and pit orchestras and musicals and, everything, like pretty much everything across the board.
How's that going?
Sessions. It's going okay. I managed to survive, and make a little bit more than I need. And I've really busted my ass to do it. I have a college degree from a pretty prestigious music school, and constantly network and am out pounding the pavement all the time, and still kind of just doing okay but not great, and trying to figure out how to make the move up into the next echelon, because frankly a lot of the gigs that I have to do to get by now I'm not really proud of. So I was wondering if maybe you could relate at one point in your career, and if you have any advice, even though what we do is different, it's kind of in the same vein.
Well, first of all, you have to be the best.
Right.
And you have to believe you're the best.
Right.
Being just another bass player is not good enough.
Right.
So saying you're good enough to go to the next level, no. You have to be the best there is.
Right.
Those who are the best there is will succeed. I have always believed I'm the best at what I do, and I still do.
Right.
If you don't believe that, you have to make yourself the best at what you do. You have to make yourself better than anybody. If you're not willing to do that, you're in the wrong business.
Right.
It's not good enough to be good enough.
Understood.
So that's a gut check.
Right.
Are you the best bass player in America?
No, I'm pretty damn good, but I can't say I'm the best in America.
Not good enough.
Well, to be successful and to work, not every single person has to be number one. You can have
those who are better than you are doing better than you.
True. So
you need to get better.
Right.
You have to practice more. You have to work harder.
Combination of work and attitude.
Yes.
Okay.
And you believe me, there was a time in my career I didn't have an act. Trust me. I had to learn how to do this. No one's born knowing how to do what I do.
Right.
I watched other people do it, and I thought, I can do that. But there's tapes of me floating out there somewhere where I was just absolutely... One day I'm going to come in and play my tapes of when I was in Stanton, Virginia.
Okay.
I just recently found one of those tapes, and I've got a box, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to play these so you can hear how bad I was.
Okay, so you do acknowledge the fact that one can, given that the raw materials are there, work really hard and get there. It's just a matter of...
One can.
One can.
But it is not good enough to be one of the top 50 guys.
Right.
It's just not good enough. And I know lots of musicians and actors, lots of people in show business,
right,
who are satisfied with being, one of the 50 or one of the 100 best.
Right. But for that top tier of success, you got to be up. Got to be up there.
That is correct.
Okay.
And so if you know that you're not up there, you're not working hard enough.
Right. Okay. And do you think, I believe I can be, so do you think that one should work towards that?
Well, yes. Yeah, look, you either are willing to work towards that,
right,
or it's time to change my tires. I need a little wheel rotation. Please help me out with that.
The Tom Leykis Show.